My name's Laura Culin. I own Austin Lumber Company. I also own AustinGreenbuild.com. Is a website designed to focus within the construction industry. The green build, that's where we're going, and that's where this industry and where this taking us into the green industry. Reason I'm bringing that up, and then I also own Phoenix Trades Depot. When I started back in the 80s, I was a shy girl, wouldn't make eye-to-eye contact, did not know what I wanted to do, did not want to be in construction. When I grew up, my family owned Austin Lumber Company, started in 1929. Had a little retail store down in East Austin. They did fencing construction. Then my father took it over in the 60s. He grew it, was a general contractor, still had the retail store, serviced more residential. When his health got bad, I was actually in college, and I was in Dallas going to an all-girls college. Again, my degree is in fashion merchandising and associate's degree in marketing. Growing up, never wanted to have anything to do with the construction industry. Did not like it, did not want to have any part of it. Thought it was dirty, not a path I wanted to take. When I was in college, my last year in college, when I graduated, my father got sick. My brother and sister were running the company, and they needed help. I was asked to move back to Austin, come help with the family business. I was so upset that they asked me to come back and do that. I'm going to New York. I'm going to be in fashion design, fashion merchandising, retail buyer. Had a great opportunity to go that path. Because of obligations, I came back to Austin. Started working in the back. We had like 15 employees back then. They were doing fence building, chain link fences. My father made me work back there with them. Then graduate to work in the mill, where we were producing and milling studs and fascia boards and material for other lumber companies. That's what we did. Your Foxworth Galberts, your Home Depots, your back then Builder Square. That's what we did. We cut and milled the material, and then we shipped it out to other lumber companies. That's what my father's niche was the mill. So I got to graduate to work in the mill. We're talking 120 degrees in those warehouses. There wasn't the big safety things like there are now. It was hot, it was dirty. I cussed them every day that I had to be out there doing that, carrying bags of cement, running the hardware store. We had a full-line hardware store. Started moving up into the office and getting more responsibility, going back out onto job sites. Found out I loved it. I got to interact with people. When I first started in the 80s, there were no women. I may have seen 3 women on a job site. Anytime I saw somebody is when I was delivering lumber to somebody and the woman inside was signing for the ticket or giving me my check. Got to go out, see the different jobs, put material onto a job site, got to interact with how the big production was, got to see it from the very beginning of delivering that first concrete, that first lumber, all the way to the end to doing the roofing material. So I got to be through the whole process. Learning that, I enjoyed it and saw how many different facets of construction there is. Like we said before, when we were thinking about construction, you're thinking just the person out there with the hammer and saws, or your father or somebody, a bricklayer. You have now the safety director, you have project managers, you have the CAD drafting, you have internships. It opened up a whole new world to me. Through my father's health and him going back and trying to pull away, and my brother and sister going on to different avenues, I had an opportunity to become president of Austin Lumber. When my father's health, again, was getting deteriorating, he said, you know what, I can't do it anymore. It's either close it up or do you want it? And I said, you know what, I love this. I want to do it. So in 98, I was president. In 2002, I bought the company. Who would have thought somebody that hated it growing up and was going a different career path would actually own her own lumber company? It wasn't in the cards. It wasn't something. So you never know what way life's going to treat you and what career path you're going to go. So in this video, I guess, and try to teach you, you never know. Take a little bit of every day, see what, aspects come to you. So if you don't think you like construction, you don't think you're going to be good at it, there's so many facets that you can go and get a little taste of it. The mentoring, the association that we do, is above and beyond. Every woman that you will see on a construction site, she is there as a leader, as somebody that will talk to you, that will mentor you and tell them their path. Every one of us that has been speaking today, you will see we all have a passion for it. How many people that you go to another industry can say they have a passion for what they do? Every one of us love going to work every day. I can honestly say that. Now, are there some days that I do not want to do that? Yes, there is. There are days on billing days. I do not want to be doing billings, but I can be one day, I can be dressed up in a dress talking to, 300 people, and the next day I can be, hard hat, blue jeans, on a forklift unloading a truck, which this morning I was, and now here I am talking to you. Our life has so many different, diverse, every single day is a challenge. Every single day is something different. Like I said, love what I do. When I started in 2002, I became the only 100% woman-owned lumber company around. There was none other I could not find. I belonged to the National Association of Women in Construction. We had over 6,000 women internationally that belong to the industry and that are part of this association. We looked and we got national to look. We could not find another 100% woman-owned lumber company and millwork, and that's what we did. There were no other mills that were doing what I was doing. So you never know what life's going to take you. You can have a third-grade education, and in construction, if you're good at what you do and you believe in what you do, you can actually own your own company. Or you can have a 6-year education, college education, degrees, and own your own company. And those two people can sit in a room just like this and talk one-to-one on each other and know what they're talking about. I don't think there's any other industry or any other field that you can do that. And that's what makes our construction industry so unique. I started, and I'm a little bit different, in owning Austin Lumber Company. One of my passions is I wanted to make Austin Lumber different and make a mark. Many of the older gentlemen, and I will say that in our industry itself, would come in and say, oh, but this was your daddy's lumber yard. This is your daddy's lumber yard. No, my daddy was probably my best teacher. He was the hardest on me, and he trained me well how to be in the construction industry. You have to have a tough back. If you don't have big shoulders, and if you cannot stand and prove yourself for what you do day to day, integrity is very important. I don't step up and say anything if I can't back it up, and that's how we all, each and every one of us are in this industry. We have to prove ourselves every day. And my father and the gentlemen, I would say the older mentors that I had, the older gentlemen in construction taught me that. I had to prove myself, and I had to go a step beyond and back up everything. And in doing that, anybody, now that I'm 20 plus years in this industry, I'll just leave it there, I can still go back, and not one single person ever can tell you that Laura cheated you on a job, or you may not like me as a person. I'm okay with that. But there's not one single person in this industry that can ever say that I cheated on a job or I was unethical in any way. And I think that's one thing that women, if you have strong ethics, you're good in construction. If you have great work ethics, you'd be good in construction. You have to be on that job every single morning. And that's one thing I preach is you have to call me. You have to tell me you're going to be there because you affect everyone. One person doesn't show up, it affects the whole crew. So if you don't have good ethics, if you're not one that can be reliable, maybe construction's not for you. But we also teach that because you enjoy what you're doing. You want to be there on that job site. Every one of us can tell you we enjoy being on that job site. And in doing that, I hope that with Austin Lumber and making my own mark, is I never wanted to be a big person. I never wanted to be that multi-million-dollar company that had 500 employees. My goal was when I bought Austin Lumber and kept it, is I would never have more than 15 employees. That was one thing I wanted to say, a micro small, because when I was coming through, nobody helped me when I was coming through. There was nothing that I could back then could really go to and feed off of. So what I do now is I'm more of a mentoring. So for somebody that wants to start their own business, you can come, we discuss it. I open doors, I teach you, I introduce you to people that are in the industry that can help you take a little shorter path than I had to take. And I am happy to share these people and introduce them to you because I have met such wonderful, dynamic people along the way. And each one of these ladies here, from the high school all the way up to, we have been seasoned to the big GCs, we all interconnect and we can all relate to each other. And we can all go into a room and talk about the same passion that we have. And NAWIC, again, belonging to an association, helps bring that together. Every single person has a common thread. And I can go anywhere in the United States and know through an association like NAWIC, I know somebody there. So continue education is very important. I still am very strong, even though I've been in the industry 20 plus years, I still take continuing education classes. There's not a quarter that doesn't go by that I take some kind of class. So continue education. This industry is always changing. We're always learning something every day about something that's going on. Even though we still, do hammer and nails, we're still pounding in, there's still manual labor. There's so many new assets now that we're learning. You never quit learning in construction. And there's so many different fields that it's not the same old thing it used to be. I have now, because of the way our industry has gone, is I'm doing work in oil field. I've been going down to oils and to the oil field, and that's really popular right now. There are no women down there. I'm the only woman right there, and I saw a need that we need the safety instructors. Right now, I have started to take my safety instructor courses, and so my training is going to be oil field safety. That's something, even though here I was in construction and a shy girl 20-something years ago, now my path, even with owning Austin Lumber and what I do, is I'm going into something else. So it shows you can never quit learning, and you can always change your path, but you're still on the same road, but there's different forks in it. So I encourage anybody and everybody that wants to be in construction, there's something there for you. So thank you.